There is a group of Labour MPs who support a clean Brexit to break free from the shackles of a corporatist cartel that blocks state intervention. Labour leader Jeremy Corbyn has long been sympathetic to the Labour Brexit, or Lexit, argument for the UK to leave the single market, if not the customs union, to escape a Brussels oligarchy that some believe has frowned on efforts by left-leaning governments to support individual industries or nationalise them to protect consumers and workers' rights. The often cited example is the nationalisation of Britain's banks, which was clearly needed after the 2008 financial crisis and yet had to be negotiated with the EU and renewed on several occasions. Unhappy with the continued state ownership of RBS, Brussels insisted on parts being sold off. A Labour government that wants to nationalise the water, energy and rail industries would spend most of its time in Brussels defending these actions and most likely having them refused. Better to get out and gain complete autonomy. Labour Leave backer Kelvin Hopkins, arguing against Labour policy and his leader's official position in favour of staying close to the single market, has called Brexit a necessary condition for a left government to be able to do what I think a left government should do, which is to put the state back in the driving seat of economic recovery. But a legal assessment of Labour's 26 specific economic proposals by Andrea Biondi, director of the Centre of European Law at King's College London, found that the effect of remaining inside the EU would likely be negligible. Writing with Andy Tarrant, a former Labour advisor on Europe, in the quarterly Social Democratic journal Renewal, she said, particular concern has been expressed by supporters of Lexit concerning state aid rules preventing those parts of the Labour's current programme which favour nationalisation. This is not the case, nor would Lexit in any event be a mechanism for avoiding state aid laws, which are requirements of World Trade Organization membership and form part of the EU's negotiating brief for any trade agreement with the UK. The EU has a policy that prevents a national railway monopoly, but this is to make sure a pan-European freight network thrives, which is something Labour supporters would probably back. Most European countries have a nationalised railway system. French President Emmanuel Macron recently nationalised a shipyard jointly owned with an Italian rival to prevent the domestic firm losing control. He was able to press ahead with his protectionist measure under Maastricht and Lisbon Treaty rules that leave room for policy objectives for which state aid can be considered compatible. Talk to EU officials and they're bewildered at the notion the EU is a one-size-fits-all club when there are many more social democratic, statist members than the UK.